Think you've seen it all when it comes to heat embossing? I don't know about that. So let's create 4 cards together, sharing 7 techniques, and see which ones you know and which ones you've yet to try. All right, our first technique involves clear embossing powder, and I'm using actually super fine clear embossing powder so I can get all those little details. Now, when it comes to using powders, of course, it can be overwhelming with how many powders are out there, especially solid colors. But did you know you could use your ink pads in order to eliminate a lot of the powders out there? So what we're going to do is just stamp our background normally. I chose to do 3 different colors on my background. You can do this with 1 color. It's also fine. You'll notice that when I go through, I use a blending brush to just kind of soften the edges as I stamp along. And I can stamp over and over again to make my stamping better as far as my background goes. But overall, the important part when it comes to the heat embossing, so I'm going to create now yellow, red, and purple heat embossing by using clear embossing powder. So I've cleaned off my stamp entirely and I'm inking it up with some Versamark ink or whatever embossing ink you might have. And I'm going to stamp it directly on top of the image that I just stamped with my colored inks. Now I'm going to do the exact normal way of heat embossing. I just grabbed a piece of scrap paper underneath to catch any powder. And I'm going to pour clear embossing powder all over my image. This is going to give me the gloss that heat embossing gives me. It's going to also give me the texture that heat embossing gives me. Don't mind the train horn there. And when I heat it up, it's going to look like I used yellow, red, and purple heat embossing, but I really just used 1 jar. So you can replace any solid color embossing powder with just 1 clear embossing powder and using your regular inks that you already have in your stash. Now, if you want to take this up a notch, and I'm not going to lie, I regret doing this on this specific card because I think this background's super pretty and nice and would have looked great on white, but you can go over it in black or any sort of dark ink like navy blue, brown, or green, and you can do the Joseph's coat technique, which is a fun technique where you go over top and the embossing powder resists everything that's going on, and you can just wipe it off with a paper towel afterwards to buff it out, and those colors turn out really vibrant and gorgeous. In my opinion, the Joseph's coat technique actually looks best when you have really large solid areas on your stamp and not such fine detail like on this one. So this is one of my favorite cards I've ever made with the technique, just to show you that this technique actually does look good when it's done properly. But overall, my image turned out just fine. Okay, so I'm going to use a gatefold here instead of a standard card fold. So I'm going at 2 1/8 of an inch and 6 3/8 of an inch. And I'm folding those in between to create a card that opens in the middle instead of on the side. It's just a little extra something. You can do a standard card obviously as well. I've cut down my background and mounted it on a piece of white cardstock, leaving a 1/4 inch border around the edge, just to kind of tone down the background a little bit. I'm going to also add in a white heart, and this just helps to kind of offset all that vibrant color, and the black really helps the colors pop as well as the white. So just making sure, of course, when we glue down that square with the heart, that we're only gluing on one side of the flaps of your card base and not both, or else your card won't open. So that's 2 techniques down, and let's continue on with making a few other cards. All right, again, killing 2 techniques with 1 stone. We are going to do not only heat embossing with a stencil, but also heat embossing on pattern paper. Now, the less busy the pattern paper, the better. So this is pattern paper that's like a jade color, and it's got sort of faded areas on it. Wood grains look nice too, but less is more when it comes to the pattern paper with this technique. I'm grabbing a splatter embossing powder here, and I'm grabbing a domed ink tool here. I find using a blending tool like this one in particular is so much better for applying Versamark ink through a stencil than, let's say, doing the ink pad directly to the stencil or using one of the blended brushes that gets super gunky. This is my favorite method of applying Versamark to a stencil. Now, when I said I like to save money on solid color embossing powders, it means I don't buy yellows and oranges and reds and greens, but I save my money for these mixes. These mixes are everything. They're so pretty. They contain a bunch of different embossing powders together. Like this one here is like kind of the sea green, white, silver, and it's so cool when they're melted. They're absolutely gorgeous. These are the things that I like to invest in versus solid colors. So I don't have to have 500 different bottles of embossing powder, but I definitely don't just have white, clear, silver, and gold, which I recommend if you're just beginning. So let's heat all of this up and melt the powder. The second it turns shiny and no longer matte, it is ready. You pull the tool away and you'll be all set and get gorgeous results every single time. To finish up this card, I just added a couple of embellishments. I need a baby card, so I thought this would be perfect for that. And I added some little embellishments coming out of the carriage, which I thought were really cute, like a little onesie, a pacifier, a bottle, that kind of stuff. Lastly, I decided to add my sentiment right on top of the baby carriage. I thought that looked great. And then the card is more or less finished. I popped this up with a little bit of foam tape and it was all done. So here's a final look at that card. Really quick and easy and simple to do with basic supplies. Now, speaking of stencils, this one's my favorite card that I created for this video. I think it looks great. I'm just going to prep my surface with an embossing bag, which I did on all of the cards, if I'm being honest. I just don't show it always on the footage. Now, for this one here, I'm using 110-pound thick cardstock so that when I do my heat embossing, nothing's really warping too much. And when it comes to layering stencils, you can go ahead and do all the images, one of the layers, two of the layers, as many as you want in heat embossing. So I thought the daisies might be fun to do on like a white shimmer look. I know it's white on white cardstock, so you can't see it too much, but the effect is really pretty on not only the flowers, but also on the wings of the bees. And then I just did a combination of ink blending and heat embossing for this. The only thing you have to make sure to do when you're doing all of these layers is that when you do the heat embossing or you add your Versamark, that the rest of the layers are dry first so the powder doesn't stick everywhere. So I went in, as you see, I did the daisies in like a shimmery white color. I did I'm going to do the honeycombs in some sparkling gold or sparkling yellow kind of color that has glitter. And now my daughter's full of glitter and probably will have glitter on her for the next year of her life, but that's okay. And I just kind of went through and just pick and choose different images to add embossing to and heat embossing to rather than just ink blending. And it makes the image just look so fun and cool. The only thing though I would advise caution for is if you're using something like this and you plan on using coordinating dies after, and it's one die, like this one here, one die cuts out all these images. If you don't want to use it just as a background, you want to cut out all these bees and florals and all those things. Because I did so much heat embossing, it did warp the cardstock ever so slightly, which means that the coordinating die is more or less useless. So I ended up using this as a background instead of using the individual elements. If you want to do individual elements, then I would suggest just heat embossing once. And really paying attention to not letting your heat tool on a certain area for too long so that you get no warping while you're doing this. Yeah, so whether you have like a floral layering embossing or stencils or you have something else, I really enjoy adding a little element of heat embossing to it. I think it looks great, or even some paste if you prefer pastes. That would look really nice as well. They come together, and even just adding this like shimmery, glittery powder on top of the bee's wings is just so pretty. I absolutely love it. I find the daisies got lost a little bit, which is one of the reasons why I ended up adding a little bit of ink blending over top, just to help them stand out ever so slightly. You can see that here that I've gone over them a little bit in yellow just to help them pop. And in real life, you can see the daisies. It's just a little bit hard to pick up on camera. And then I'm just going to cut this down to 4 by 5¼ inches so I can add it to my background. Or card base, rather. And let's see how this card turned out after I added the sentiment. I think it's beautiful. You don't need anything more than that background. No other elements need to be added. It's so fun and shiny and sparkly, and it just has everything a card should have. All right, next up, we're going to be doing some embossing folder techniques. So we're going to add some Versamark ink, and you're going to get different looks depending on which side you add it to. I'm using the raised side because that's obviously going to be the easiest thing to do. However, you will see that you're not going to get a complete coverage image, which is what I don't want in this case. If you want to do the other side of the embossing folder, it might be hard to get in with your ink pad itself. You could use one of those blending tools that I showed earlier for stencils. Or another thing you can do, Wow Embossing Powder actually has, I think it's by Seth Apter, it's like a applicator of embossing ink, and it looks like nail polish, like a nail polish brush, and you could rub that on your embossing folder too. So I'm going to grab my my paper rather, trying not to touch it too much because you don't want to get any of the oils on your hands on your paper so that the embossing powder sticks in places it shouldn't. And I'm going to grab my die cutting machine here and run it through using my 3D embossing folder setting. And once you add your powder and you heat it up, which I've shown a million times on the camera so far, so I just skipped that part, it looks like this. So let's go through some other techniques. I'm going to finish up this card and we are going to do some other heat embossing techniques. And I'm going to start by stamping the honey jar and the whatever that thing is called. Honestly, the longer I spend in Germany, the more English I forget. I don't even know if I knew that word to begin with, though, to be honest with you, whatever that honey spoon is. Let me know in the comments if you know the word. And I'm going to just layer stamp this. And again, I'm going to be doing another heat embossing technique that's going to give me a really shiny look to make the honey look shiny. So we're going to start off like previous techniques and use some clear embossing powder over top. So I'm going to do it on all of the images on the last layer. So the honey is going to be shiny, the spoon at the end is going to be shiny, the sentiment is going to be shiny as well. That's another thing that you can do is heat emboss your sentiments with clear powder. It makes them much more crisp and beautiful. But another thing that you can do is let this cool off for a minute or two. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go over this with Versamark ink again. And I'm going to go over this a couple of times using the clear embossing, heating it in between each time. Now, when it comes to this, I really love doing this with metallic powders on word sentiments. I think it looks phenomenal. I'm going to do that in my live class today that I'm teaching. But when you heat it up, I find after the second layer, sorry, again, I'm off screen for the heating part, but once I do the second layer, I find that if I'm fairly quick, I can just pour the embossing powder directly on top without needing to re-stamp with Versamark every time. It's already wet and kind of sticky because of the powder while it's cooling. And because you have more than one layer on it, it stays sticky a little bit longer than your first layer. And the more layers you add, the longer it stays sticky, and you don't have to do that Versamark ink stamping every time. In total, I did the honey jar about 4 or 5 times actually, and it's super, super shiny. And it also is got really thick layers, so it feels almost as if it's ephemera, more so than just a simple die cut. So it really turns out to be a really great look, and it's so fun. So let's take a look and hold this up to the light. And you can really see the shine, which doesn't do any justice compared to real life. Now, if you enjoyed this video, I recommend heading to this video here with over 90,000 views on why I fell in love with heat embossing all over again by learning this about heat embossing. So come meet me over there in that video, and then we will learn even more about powders. See you over there.